Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend at the bar because of a joke he made? No, because if you don't find it funny and if he doesn't respect you and speaks in poor form, that might be his fault for you leaving. But that's me getting ahead of myself. I have a date with my boyfriend for. I have been dating my boyfriend for about 9 months now. I'm Asian and grew up in my home country pretty much all my life until I was 19. Went abroad to a European country to study. My boyfriend is from the country I'm currently studying in. He has shown interest in my background a bit, and I honestly like talking about it. I never questioned anything about our relationship until last night when we went to the bar and with some of his friends. One of his friends asked if my boyfriend is trying to learn my native language, and we told him no. My boyfriend went on a joke about how my language sounded too rough and weird for him to even try. I gave him a confused look and said he said that he would if it was more like Japanese or Korean. So that already is a red flag because that's rude to speak of their language in poor form and to make it sound too difficult to try. So if you can't try their language, why are you dating them? But I'll continue. I was completely silent after that and made up some excuse and left. It wasn't subtle at all, but I didn't care at the time and felt like crying. He's been blowing up my phone with messages and calling, and all the messages say that I overreacted and embarrassed him in public. I haven't replied and picked up any of his calls. I am in no way saying that he must learn my native language, but the way he explained it hurt me. Now I'm wondering if I really did overreact and look too deep into it. So am I the A for doing that? Lady, miss, you did nothing wrong. He is. You're not the asshole. I'm gonna say it as a Southeast Asian, Vietnamese-born gentleman. It's some languages can be tough. Um, Laos, speaking in Laos is gonna be hard for me. Definitely Cambodia, but that shouldn't. I don't technically have the. I should never voice how that language feels because again, my language is the way the Vietnamese sounds really stereotypical to other people in my area as well, because I'm Vietnamese, people perceive that as part of Chinatown because in Seattle, Chinatown is has a high mix of Vietnamese and Chinese, so they mixes up a lot. And whenever I go to Seattle, sometimes they assume I'm one ethnic group or the other. So I can see where that might be a problem, sure. But this is about language, and I'm saying that your boyfriend, which you might break up with, your boyfriend is definitely in the wrong for speaking in poor form about your language because it's something you're proud of. You lived in that language for 19 years. You did nothing wrong. He made a joke about it, and you were right to leave him because if you came into it and like, it's really hard for you to reverse Uno how they feel about the English language because everybody knows the English language is really bad. And for a European country to say this European language to be very this way or that way, they can understand it because they are of that language. They can understand it. I have English learnt in America, and everybody knows that English in America is quite trash in comparison to English in the UK and English elsewhere because we have made things so dual. Every word that we have made has its own dual identity that it confuses everybody who tries to translate it into their own language and even in UK. So we don't have a right to really just project ourselves. So yeah, you did nothing wrong, miss. You you are not wrong. You're not the a-hole. Your partner. I feel bad because the friend was asking, "Hey, trying to learn their language." So like, hey, she's trying to get to know you too. But then he doubled down into that joke, and I don't know if the group of friends was your friends or his friends or yours and his friends, but definitely that's poor form to where he did not defend you. in any shape or form. So NDA, not the asshole. You did nothing wrong. But let's see what others have said. Like, there's a lot of like top comments, so we'll just like peruse. Not the a hole. He called your language rough and weird. Uh, is that a joke? Because like because I'm because I get the response. Well, a lot of languages can be considered weird and rough. Yes, not to disagree with you there, but you don't say that at your significant other's expense as a joke. Calling out her language like that was rude. Yeah, definitely, because her language, because if you want to reverse that, that's going to be a problem, because by insulting her language, that's insulting where she came from, who she is. So for double downing on the joke at the expense of the partner, then that's rude. That shows that you should actually reassess your relationship with your significant other. Uh, Original poster, you are wild, status. I can't read wild, statistician, magician, statistician. Wow, statistician, you should like reevaluate your relationship with your boyfriend, because this is not great. This is not great that you feel this way. So this is a relatively short post, but definitely not the asshole. Um, there are definitely languages that are considered to be rougher than others. Yeah, because when I was around my friends and who like learned languages, we always thought that Germany was very angry sounding and Russian to be angry sounding, and that's from our experiences. It may be beautiful language, and there may be other people who have expressed that language to be relatively beautiful, but again, that's it's kind of rough. It's kind of rough to be in a situation to like really stand for that. So hey, you did nothing wrong. I want to see who. Okay, Japanese and Koreans are objectified and viewed as a kink by many white people, and it's really gross. Yeah, oh, that's really bad, because for as much for as much for as much joy that the Korean and Japanese media has provided us, we've gotten anime, K-pop, uh, sushi, and all that. But like, despite all that, sorry, like alarm. But it is funny to where like the Japanese and Korean culture has been fetishized in a way, because recently it's kind of funny. It's a joke, sure, that my kid sister like really likes all these Korean actors, and it's there is a culture with Korean dramas and Asian actors in terms of like parasocial relationships. That's a kind of perversion in its own way, but also it's really bad. And sure, the Germans are other languages are perverse within their own ways, within their own means. And even in the movie Kick-Ass, Russians were joked on for at their own expense. So it's really weird. Being fetishizing other languages is very weird. For him to have said, "Hey, I would have liked it if it would have been if she was Korean or if she was Japanese," that's rude. That's also a red flag that you should drop the guy. So yeah, he's the fact that he specifically uh, mentioned Japanese and Korean. That's not good. Uh, hmm. Just pretty much a what weird. Okay, let's see what else. Is there a person that would say they are not the a hole? Let's look at like let's see. New. I don't care about a hole, but the way you're over, but you way overreacted. Okay, hold on. You are rude. How do you mean? It doesn't sound like it was meant to put you or your heritage down. Not even really a joke, just what it sounds like to him. Okay, sure, that makes sense, but again, like it yeah, sure, like you might, but like the fact that it's it's the preference to a different language than your own partner's original language. Like that's a little like rude in itself. To where, at her expense, you said, ah, her language is a little rough and weird. I would have been more into it if it was if it was Korean or Japanese. Like it's at still at their expense because that's their identity. You're not even taking his calls over this. That seems extreme to me. You could have maybe started with, "I appreciate if you didn't say anything like that. I'm proud of where I'm from." And okay, you are a bit rude because that's short sighted. I it is is it extreme to you because it didn't happen to you, or is it extreme because I don't think I would have done something like that? Well, okay, that's your experience, but also her experience is a little rough because yeah, sure, that's her identity. But like for him, if she feels unrespected by her partner, then by all means she's more than welcome to like ignore the phone calls because she's not in the right place to take it. That's again like that's on you. So I appreciate you, by the way, prior consequence, because you're the one negative comment I need to like see in this perspective. But the original poster did react appropriately because if you don't feel safe with your partner, you need space. NTA 9 months and calling I don't know 9 months and it all can be ruined by one night and NTA just sit down and talk it out. Yeah, talk it out when you feel comfortable because you need to be in a comfortable space for this conversation. Because if this really upsets you, he has to be aware of it, and if he doesn't, he needs to be told when you're ready. So he has to be told that this was not cool. Um, as an African American, all I hear are foreigners chatting shit about our culture, our politics, and our language. Sometimes something like what you're be fed something like what your boyfriend said should be normal. I certainly thought it was based off my experience. How is she the a hole? If I had $1 for every Hispanic, Russian, British, or German I met that made fun of my accent in American, I'd be rich. Asians are usually nice. Yeah, we're so nice when it comes. But at the end of the day, it's all a joke. Nothing be taken too seriously, even if it doesn't land. Brush it off and talk about it later. Yeah, you should honestly talk about it later. But yeah, like even here, like when it's kind of a problem to where when languages aren't very normalized, like the fact if he were to say that about his girlfriend if she was African American or African European, yeah, definitely her native language would be very weird and rough because you're not used to it. So yes, that is true. But something like the boyfriend said is relatively normal if you like go to look for it. Hopefully, it'll work out. It's really not that deep. Words in passing shouldn't be dwelled on unless vile or important. I mean, for the original poster, if it was important to them that this feels like an attack on them, then attack is a strong word. Yes. So walking away from it when you don't feel comfortable is also a good tactic because if you're going out, it's the fact that like he is taking offense for it. Blowing up my phone with messages and calling with calls and all the messages say that I overreacted and embarrassed him. Are you I still think that she is not the asshole because if his actual text was, "Why did you embarrass me?" That's a problem to where this response to your joke, this response to your joke isn't focused about you who's being embarrassed. This is focused about someone who had to physically walk away from the conversation. But what would I know, right? What would I know? Because I'm not in your relationship. but I don't think that she's the asshole for leaving. But it is true that she should take into account that he's not technically wrong, but he needs to be spoken to about regarding like how this is not good, this is not safe for her. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below on YouTube, and I'll talk to you next time. Okay? Bye.